A very good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. And we have morning and evening on the net today. This is ZS6YI hosting the worldwide DATV Net as we do most Sundays at this time. And we wish to just welcome everybody, Ed in Brazil, South America, and of course to Saro. He's in India, and I've seen Saro. I haven't seen Ed yet, but I do know he's on the list. We want to take this opportunity of thanking the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to have an amateur radio situated on their satellite, on their commercial satellite. And this was a satellite developed by the Germans under a DL, well, it's the AMSAT DL group, if I can put it that way, without singling out anyone in particular. And then we have AMSAT UK also involved, and of course the BATC. All three institutions we wish to thank profusely for allowing amateurs to be able to talk to one another via satellite over great distances without any fading or QSB. It's fantastic. Today on our net, we have the following. I can just call that up quickly, and then we can see who's on the net thus far, but I'm sure the list could grow. We have Paul. I haven't seen him on yet. Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa. Traditionally, I put Paul up high up in the list. The reason is he has to go and visit his parents every Sunday, so he has very limited time, but he does watch the net further when he gets home on and via YouTube. And I see we are going out. We've got 13 people on at the moment. Thereafter, we have Leon, ZS1 Mike, down in Worcester in the Cape Province of South Africa. And then we go all the way up to India, VU2OBR, Saro. Hello to you, Saro. And then to Phil in the UK, Mike 0 Papa India Tango. And then all the way to South America, to Ed Papa Yankee 2 Radio November, and then Alberto Echo Alpha 3 Golf November Uniform. Welcome aboard, Alberto. And I just want to see on YouTube, we have G6HFS. Brian is watching. Hello, Brian. We have Ashley Booth, that's Golf Echo 8 Delta Papa Hotel, watching from Bricketwood in the United Kingdom. And we have Sandor in Germany, my dear friend, Delta Mike 4 Delta Sierra. They're all watching on YouTube at the moment, the live stream that we have. For those that are watching the live stream on YouTube, if you click the like button and follow, then it's easy. Every time it comes up, automatically you get a message on your phone, and it just comes up. And hello to Tom van den Bom. My goodness, Tom. You should be on the air. That's ZR6. What's your call sign? You see, Tom, I haven't spoken to you for so long. HI. And thanks for that proxy the other day. And hello to Ismail. All good. That's on YouTube. It's strange to see Tom on YouTube. He must be out of town. Normally, Tom's the guy that comes on quite quickly. All right. So with that, let's see if our dear friend Paul is on. Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa, perhaps to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
And the usual check whether I do have audio. Unbelievable. I do have audio. That's good. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you from Limmen in the Netherlands. Yeah, I really was in a hurry because I came home about 10 minutes before 3 o'clock. That means local time. And as usual, when you are in a hurry, the PC won't start up, and so on and so on. At least I had some success. I can monitor myself, so that means that the signal is on the air. That's good. It might be that I have to deliver a bit more output. That's what I see. That could help other people to see me too. Yeah. First of all, looking at the weather, this morning started rather sunny. That's good, with a temperature of about 9 to 10 degrees, which is reasonable. Clouds came in again, and it might well be that it will start raining soon. Looking back at last week, first of all, Gary, there's something that's very important. Thank you. Really great, really great. I almost had forgotten the clapperboard. No, honestly, it's a most wonderful gift. Thank you very much, Gary. And I worked this week on the engine of my car again. It's working fine now, so that's good, which means that I can continue. As usual, I did prepare the next part for the presentation. I could do it, but I think it's better that we first of all go a first round. And if people are not bored by my presentations, then we can still do it in the second round. And it gives me also a bit more comfort since I'm just sitting here for 10 minutes. So that means that I hand over the microphone and the camera to Leon. Z1 Mike from Papa Echo number 1 Alpha Victor Papa.
Okay, thanks Paul. Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa. ZS1 Mike returning, and very good afternoon and good morning and good evening to all those. We have the full spread today. we only need Zvi there in Israel, then we have the whole lot. But very nice. Okay Paul, yes, you have a nice choir of digital noise with you today. But still your audio is very good. Level is right and everything, and your picture's excellent, so nothing to worry about. Yes, I know the thing. That's why I switched on my lot at 1 o'clock local time. It seems like you're running the same time as we. 1 o'clock I fired up the lot and I said, okay, you can simmer now and sort out all your hassles, and yes, it seems to be running stable. Okay, any news from my side? No, I've fixed a hi-fi amplifier which was given to me as a present. It was very dirty, and after I cleaned it, it actually worked. I didn't have to fix it at all. It was faulty, but after I cleaned it, it was fine. So that's going. Yeah, no, doing all sorts of other little things. I've just tested another lens on my digital camera with some macro photos, and that seemed to work fine. It's from the old Olympus OM series that I have a couple of lenses, and I imported some adapters for the Sony R7, and it works fine. And the lenses are those OM Izuiko or M Zuiko lenses are quite sharp, so yes, it's working well. And it's constant aperture, which is nice. Only the really expensive lenses are constant aperture. Doesn't matter where you zoom it, the aperture stays the same. That's a big plus point. Anyway, Saro, very nice to see that you're here. You're an absolute rarity these days. I did see your post on the thing of the two amplifiers. That's good. I don't know where you dig them out, but it's really a savior, because I mean, where would we look for those things, especially in South Africa? I've spoken to the cell phone companies here, but nah, I don't think they even operate in that band. So there's no such surplus stuff available in South Africa. High power amplifiers in S band, no, not available. Okay, Phil, we'll see what you're up to, and Ed, we must see his cartoon, and then also hello to Alberto. So, Saro, I give it all to you. VU2 OBR for the group. ZS1 Mike.
Finally again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all my friends. Yeah, thank you, Gary, for the test report. After a long time, I started my transmission for DATV. So maybe my audio is now okay. Yeah, thank you, Leon, for coming. New friend, I Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa Paul and Phil and Ed Albert. So this is the list I seen in the list. Oh, music is still on. Sorry. Oh, now okay, I think. Sorry. Yeah, Gary, I start again. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all my friends, Gary, Paul, and Leon, Phil, Ed, Albert. This is the list I seen there. I wish everyone from India. Now the temperature is 32 here, 32 degree Charlie, and 27% humidity now. Very sultry weather and very hot weather in India nowadays. Today almost reached 101, I think, in the outside. So in upcoming days it is very hard timing here because of the weather. And yeah, Leon, I made a amplifiers again. I have huge stock, around 15-20 pieces. So just I started my morning UTH work now after the health issues. So last week I sent 2 amplifiers to Belgium, and now this week I am going to send it 1 or 2 pieces to our friends too. So I'll start my work again. And also there is other projects lying there. I tried to complete and start. The wolf is successfully completed, and slowly sending the units to other friends. Almost all sent, 1 or 2 kids are pending here to complete my job. So this is the work, upcoming work for my side. And also in the DATV, Tom JR6 TG is doing very good job for us. I wish him to congratulate again. And Fox 1 EJP also, Dominic also doing a lot of work. Last week they added in the other famous Hawk RF SDR to operate on the DATV. I thank Dominic too. and Tom doing a fantastic job on the RX side. So it's everything going very well. I am too late to join again. I'll do one by one the experiment, and I'll update here for our peoples. So I am going to pass the over to Mike 0 Papa India Tango. Phil, please go ahead, start your transmission. I'll be standby for the second round.
Right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Let's make sure I've got some video coming through. And audio. Yeah, all looks good. Didn't make a mistake like last week, but there we go. Yeah, thanks, Saro. Only thing I'd say about your audio is that there is intermittent hum on it, as if you've got a dirty connection somewhere on your audio connections, but otherwise volume was a bit low, but excellent picture. Yeah, what have I been up to? Well, apart from doing domestic chores, as one does, I have had issues in the past with using hot air on surface mount printed circuit boards. It's never really worked for me, and the reason is, it's quite simple, is that I didn't have a hotbed to put the board on, i.e. to heat it up from underneath. That was my problem. So I went looking for a heated bed that would do the job, and I came across one of these. Well, not one of these, because they're available. Nothing exciting, it's just a single hot plate, but they're relatively cheap. In the UK you can actually get them for actually less than £12, which is about 14 euros. So they're not that expensive. Well, anyhow, this morning I decided that I was, it's going to fall down, it's going to make rain. I was going to try it. And what I had to do is, this is one of my driver stages that I use. It's a Chinese amp. And chip up at the top there, which you probably can't see. It's an 8 volt, it's not an 8 volt regulator, it's a regulator and it's set to 8 volts. And that got blown up. I won't go into the reasons why, but it did. But anyhow, I used the hot plate there and some hot air, and I was really surprised how easy and quick it was to remove the chip, and the process of putting a new one on, etc., etc. I was very, very surprised. It worked an absolute treat. The only thing with it is that you've got to be a bit careful, because to use it you have to use it at on its coldest setting. That's the only problem with it. It's that is, you have to use it on its minimum setting, so you can't, do it even lower. But it worked a treat, and the chip itself has got a ground plane, which the only way you can really solder it is from heat underneath and the hot air going from the top. But it did it, and yeah, I'm really chuffed, and it's relatively cheap. So that's that. What else have I been doing? Well, I've been ordering some bits for the Pico tuner, and I was looking at that, and the firmware that is currently available doesn't have Ethernet connectivity in it, but I understand that Brian, and forgive me because I can't remember his call sign, who's writing the Ethernet software for it, tells me that he does have a beta version of it, and as soon as it's all been tested, it will be not uploaded, the link will be on the BAT website, so you'll be able to access the Pico over the network, which is the way that I connect to my receivers. I don't use USB into any of the kit here. It's receivers, Winter Hill, etc. is over on my right, and I just connect to it via the Ethernet, and it works a treat. That's it from me. I don't really have much else, so I think I'm going to hand it over to, who's next? Ed. Ed is on the list there, PY2RN. So I'm going to put up a test card and then hand it over to Ed. This is M0PIT.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It's always a challenge to make a sequence of images with OBS. I still didn't find how to do that automatically when you have several scenes to make OBS play them automatically instead of going to do that manually. But that's nice. All good copy, very nice copy from Gary, Paul, Leon, Saro, and Phil. It's been a pleasure to be with you guys here. Yeah, speaking about the hot plate, yeah, that's what I have here as well, Phil. It's very helpful. Yeah, that facilitates a lot to cook, not food, but our stuff. I use it a lot to solder and desolder. Mainly for the LDMOS amplifiers. I still didn't use that related to SMD, but I'm sure that is going to be useful as well. Yep. And that's it, guys. I mean, no other news from my side this week. Everything going okay. Weather, yeah, it's been unusually hot. Saro mentioned about India, and here we are at the end of April. I mean, we are almost the middle of autumn, and the temperatures raising up to above 30 degrees. So it's been very hot, very unusual for this time of year here. I don't know, but this year is totally crazy. I don't even think we're gonna have winter this year. Maybe a few days, but that's all, because at this time of year we should get very mild temperatures, and that's been very hot yet. Yep. Okay. I'm trying to remember what I did interesting this week, but I upgraded with the new F5OEO firmware. And try to run also the new version of DATV Red, but I don't know what happened, and it will not start. It will not start encoding. So I just rolled back for the previous DATV Red version that I have running here that works okay. So not sure why the newer version is not starting the encoding. Need to investigate. Alright then. Bueno, me parece que teníamos una estación de España. Eso es un gran placer, porque yo creo que la primera acá de España es muy bueno. Yo entiendo que nosotros no hablamos español, entonces hay una dificultad de las estaciones de España juntarse a nosotros, pero bueno, puede hablar como quiera, en inglés, español, en cualquier idioma, que lo más importante es la presencia. Ok, Alberto, gracias por tu presencia acá. Okay, then Echo Alpha 3 Golf November Uniform, giving the camera and microphone to you from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Okay. That was such a nice introduction from you, Ed. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I have audio and video. Muchísimas gracias, Ed, por tu bienvenida. Es la segunda vez que salgo en la net. So this is my second time on the net. The first time you were not here, Ed. So thank you so much for letting me in, and for making this net every Sunday. I wanted to take the opportunity to say hi to you, to all of you. We don't find these opportunities where we can say hi to nice people from Brazil, India, South Africa, Europe. So I'm very delighted to be here and be able to say hi to you from Barcelona. So yeah, this image here was my window. So this is what it looks like outside Barcelona, well, in my neighborhood at least. So clear sky, 18 degrees. So this is real-time temperature from my home assistant system. So we have 18 degrees outside. Now in the chat, 24. So this is coming from this Bluetooth sensor, real time. So you can see 24.7, which is more or less real time. Okay, so about the no winter, Ed, I know what you mean. This winter was also very warm here. So the same thing might happen also in Brazil. You had some out of sync audio. I don't know if my audio is perfectly in sync, but your audio was a little bit out of sync, and very nice opening too. Yeah, very nice opening. Hi Phil, also, and hi Saro in India. Leon, well, you said that you had some constant aperture lens. Yeah, those lenses are used in broadcast and they are expensive. We call it parafocal. So you can zoom in, zoom out, and you will have everything in focus. And also, Paul, I was able to look at your presentation last week, or I think it was last week, and I think it's very interesting, and we need to have this kind of information available for everyone, because we are using systems that are related to video and coding video and transmitting video, and knowing every step in detail. I think it's a very nice thing to share. From my side, what I can share with you, well, I'm currently learning a CW. I'm a new CW operator, so I put together one of these QRP transceivers, and I'm learning CW through it. So taking it to the summits, to the mountains, and operating for the summits on the air SOTA activities. And sometimes I share also my activity here at the QTH with this radio. So if sometimes you want to call me or to answer my call, I will be more than happy to have a QSO and then maybe send you some QSL card to you. I designed this last week, so maybe I can also share a QSL card with you. What else? Also, I wanted to share with you just a very small project that I made. So I have all my amplifier and my DATV station at the top of the 7-story building, and I'm at the first floor, so I have to control everything remotely. So one thing that I wanted to do is to turn everything on and off remotely, and also know if it is turned on or off. So have the info about if it is running or not. So what I made is this is some sort of similar to an Arduino button. So it has a button here, and also these LEDs. So I have it just in front of me, so I know it is on. If it was off, it would turn green. So if I press this, I go out of, so everything turns down and you cannot see me. So I will not do it. But what it does is just sends and receives MQTT messages. So this is something that I think it's nice to have. So I can know that my station is turned off at night, or just turn it on with the click of a button. What else can I share with you? I think just that. The temperature, the MQTT button. Yeah, well, I have also this project for the future, which is, I think, you know what it is. This is an amplifier designed for 2.4. So someday I will just try to put it in a box and know where to put the power supply and everything. This is quite too much for me right now. I thought it would be easier, but it is a very complex project for me right now. So, okay, I will pass over to Gary, and I will stay with you guys for the next over. So, Gary, back to you.
Excellent signal, Alberto from Barcelona. But let's give Martin G8 King of England, and you pass it back to me, Martin. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a bit late. Let's make sure I've got some sound. Yeah, I'm a bit late. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether everything was going to fire up, but so I haven't managed to watch many people. I did get a little bit of Ed that was having problems with his DATV Red, which interesting. I don't know why he got problems there. There's constant changes seem to go ahead. At the moment, I'm running a later version of DATV Red, which is 4.8, which now has little buttons that you can define what you want. It saves all the parameters. That was available yesterday for testing, and it was great. But yeah, since last week I've totally rehashed. I unplugged absolutely everything and replugged it all back up. So I moved things around, and I was able to paint the wall behind, etc., etc. So there's now a gap between the desk and the wall. But a problem I experienced after doing that was that every so often I'd run DATV Red running, or I'd have a receive Open Tune or whatever running, and then I'd open up another program, either OBS or something of that nature, and the whole system would lock up. And I mean lock up. I couldn't do a thing other than switch it off and then power it back up. And whenever that happened, it always corrupted something in DATV Red, which easiest way for me to overcome it was to reinstall it, which I wasn't quite sure exactly what went wrong, but this went on for a while. Sort of cut a long story short, what I'd actually done is to plug up the receiver onto a USB hub, not directly into the PC, and that was causing things to lock up every so often. I've since plugged it in, the actual receiver direct into the PC. I've still got a hub which is sitting with other things. I actually changed the hub as well for an older one that I had, and we're back into a working system. It was beginning to annoy me because suddenly your mouse would lock up all the screens. Cause I've got 3 screens here on the system, but that was down to this plugging into the USB hub, not directly into the main PC. And in fact, it wasn't just running OpenTuner, which I usually run with the Winterhill client built into it, but just the Minitune software would also cause the lockup. So I see if Tom's lurking there. I think I did send an email to him, but running the Winterhill client, only slight hiccup I get is that let's go over to which I'm using, as you can see there. If I fired it up and I haven't actually received a signal on any of the 4 it's getting confusing, Windows, and I try and adjust the sound with the slider. Everything locks up and crashes. Once it's received a signal, it's absolutely fine. So it's not a problem. Just probably one of those silly sort of things that is lurking out. Anyway, that's the new DATV Red, the way it's looking at the moment. And the other thing that has included in this version, it's got an exe file, which is Windows is quite happy with. I don't understand all these things, and you now end up with a nice little icon, little red icon you might see on the taskbar that I can assign there. So before I was using the batch file to run it, but that I like a lot. There's other little niceties that Ohan's done, and I must admit it's working exceedingly well for me. But yeah, the profile presets that are back, they're very useful. They obviously set things up and get you back to square one sort of thing. What else was I going to comment on? USB hub I've done. Yeah, likewise, same as I've been gathering the parts together for the Pico tune, and I was sort of looking at the best way to solder the regulators in, and I did contact Brian, who I think has popped up on the end, so I'll pass it to him in a minute. Came back with his method of soldering them on. So I noticed you said you held it in with some position with a bit of paste, etc. Do you put paste underneath the actual regulator? Presumably you do. Be interested. Perhaps you can re-go over the way in which you found best way to solder those. Well, I think that's probably enough of a waffle from me. Sorry I'm a bit late. To set circumstances, I couldn't quite make it at the beginning, but we got there. Right, I'll pop up a test card and pass it over to you there, Brian, to say hello from Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
Check, we've got some audio. Sounds good to me. Yeah, good afternoon all, morning, evening. Yeah, I think some of you guys know where I've been. Flattening some lipos and some models, which tends to get me back a bit late if I don't go early enough, but managed to get back in time for one round anyway. That's how you make it the one. I haven't got a lot to update really, apart from yes, Phil M0PIT. I've got files from Brian G4EML, and I can confirm that you can sit the Pico tuner anywhere on your network and just use a Winter Hill client and pop up a couple of pictures. There's also a link you can do on the board that will change it to different two screens. Instead of being 1 and 2, you can put it on 3, 4, etc. Things like that. And I did come a cropper with that because I couldn't get hold of a 5100S Pico. Not in the UK, they seem to be gold dust. I got 5500, and as Brian said, yeah, slightly different, it has to be recompiled, so he did do a recompile for me, so I've got versions for both. But I think they're going to release it soon anyway, so that's fine for people who want to set their picos on the network somewhere. What else? Yeah, questions on the surface mount. Yeah, I think people have got different sort of ways. Depends on the size. A bed does help, but just be warned. Don't forget you've got actual components on that board, so you'll need to put all your surface mount on first if you tend to put it on a hot plate, a warm plate. But I just use a well controlled iron with a larger bit in it. And yes, what I do, I found, is I just choose one of the pins in the corner on the PCB, bit of paste, tack it down with paste on the regulator as well, and then once I've tagged it down, I just push it down with the tweezers and apply a lot of heat until the paste melts. I tend to use the low temperature ones. I find that a lot easier. Of course, they go a couple hundred degrees instead of the other enormous temperatures. And then for the other couple of pins, I just flow them with the soldering iron with a thin solder, 0.6, 0.8 mil, and just tab the other ones down, and a bit of alcohol when one's finished, not the beer type as I said yesterday. So that's really all I've been up to. Not a lot to report, apart from tinkering with Winter Hill this afternoon. For some unknown reason it decided to change the IP address, which I had to sort out. That's because I think I used the USB port for firmware. I don't use the SD cards internally. I use a high-speed USB 3 stick, USB stick, the very high-speed ones. And I think I put it in a different socket, and for some unknown reason it decided to give it a different IP. But that was didn't take long. Just stuck a command in to put it back. So that's what I've done since I've been back from flying models. Right, I'll hand it round to Mr. Net Controller, the boss. Around to you, Gary. From G6HFS to... Oh! That is 6YI, is it? Memory's gone. G6HFS.
Okay, Brian, G6HFS and the whole group. Put the switches. Okay. Get the audio muted. Yeah. Let us talk. No boss, not at all. I just run the net, and it's been a good net so far. Want to welcome many people on YouTube. I'm pleased to see Roge there. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. That is Papa Yankee 2 Radio Queen Victor. G4 IMO has got no receive, so he's watching on YouTube. Hello to Ismail, DL2 Delta Echo, Tom ZR6 Tango Golf, and Raj VU2 November Golf Sierra. Raj, you must come up on the air sometime. Hello to Adi, to Peter DK3 Zulu Fox, Regina, Delta Golf 5 Fox Mike, and Delta Juliet 9 Fox Tango, and Rodeo. He says India Kilo 1 Chow. That's Indian, of course, and a Roge. Fantastic. So once again, guys, we are a live net. Of course, you can watch it on YouTube later, and you can watch it live. So there's 50 views on at the moment, so that's not bad. And we're gaining a bit of popularity. Now, Peter, I know you, Paul, you want to go soon to visit your parents, as usual. And we always look forward to your presentations, always. So, to you, sir, Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa, to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. The usual check whether there is audio. Yeah, thank you, Gary. The usual check whether there is audio. That's great. Wonderful. I reduced the background audio. Yeah, first of all, good afternoon to the new stations that are on the net this afternoon. So I especially welcome Saro from India. It's the first time that we meet. I saw something in the WhatsApp chat, the pictures of the power amplifiers, but it did not become completely clear to me what kind of power amplifiers these are, and what the specifications are of the power amplifier. So perhaps in the next overview you can tell something more. Perhaps you did already explain, but then I have to apologize because due to the rumble that was on your last transmission, parts of it were difficult to understand. But nice meeting, Saro. Yeah, the same is applicable for Alberto. Alberto, in the past I've seen you with some tests on the transponder, but actually this is the first time that we meet here in the net. So really great. And Brian, yeah, I've met you before, but let's say the two of us are relatively new to each other. Well, in the last transmission I forgot something to mention, because dear Benno sent me something which is important. The two Serit tuners, and a lot of people are talking about the Winterhill client. Well, this is the board that I also received from Benno from BATC, and yeah, well, in the next weeks it's my intention to build it. Well, it's a kind of doublure because I already have two receivers. That means for 4 channels. But yeah, I really wanted to be able to stream on my local area network. So then, okay, Leon, you again mentioned the digital noise. I have to admit that I did not replace the audio cable yet between the encoder box and my Focusrite. And in the previous analysis which I did, I simply learned that this coaxial cable actually is not a coaxial cable at all. So it is picking up some noise. And the second remark, I had a younger guy here in my shack 2 weeks ago, and he said, I hear this beep, this very high beep. And actually that's the power supply that is powering my receivers. So that happened. Phil, congratulations on your hot plate. Well, this is the lowest cost possible, I think, because actually it's really for cooking, and I do not expect that you will be able to control the temperature that reliable. I expected when you mentioned it that you had bought something in China, because wonderful hot plates are available from China, but actually that is not what you had. And Alberto, looking at your transmission, actually the first thing that I saw, that was the 3D printer in the back. Yeah, also interesting what you can do with it. Barcelona, have been there many times. Yeah, no winter. Two people already mentioned it, and also from the Netherlands I can make the statement we don't have winters anymore. And yeah, I'm worried about it, but we talked about it before. One interesting thing, when Alberto started his transmission, I had to resync my receiver, and actually that was the only time that this happened. In the next over I will watch at your modulation code that you're using. It could be different. Yeah. And then Brian, I heard some interesting audio failures in your transmission, like packets were lost or so. It was interesting, but it doesn't matter. I could well receive you, but this is something I really heard. Okay, well, I understand that yeah, people still enjoy the presentations that I work on, so I can show it. But first of all, let's have a look at the beach, which is only yeah, 2 or 3 kilometers from here. And after we have seen the beach, I will go into presentation mode. Okay, let's have a look at the presentation again. Again, I make the disclaimer, since I'm not an expert in the area of DATV, that there might be mistakes in the presentation. I apologize for that, and I also again have to request, be critical please. If you see these mistakes, please mention it, because then we can improve the content. Let's have a look, short look at the background. I explained it many times. This is the setup which I'm using, and I simply was interested in what are the characteristics on each of the interfaces being used. And today I especially would like to elaborate on the interface between the encoder box and the Pluto. Well, it could be that you mention, yeah, but I'm not using an encoder box. I'm using some kind of video card in my PC to make the transport stream into the Adam Pluto. Yeah, that means that the kind of hardware that you're using and also the kind of software that you're using is different. But the basics are identical, and this is especially applicable for those who are using a video card with a hardware H265 encoder box. Yeah, I did prepare part 2. And it starts with the specifications of the chipset that I'm using in the encoder box. I told before that I bought a cheap encoder from China via AliExpress. And yeah, actually the encoder which is used in my encoder box is a processor which is developed by Goke. I never heard of that brand, but it is a Chinese company that is doing mass production on yeah, specific chipsets. And the Goke chipset is based on a development which was made by Huawei, and it is a high silicon yeah, processing engine And if you look at the specifications, then you learn, and that is important, that a codec is integrated in it, which can make H.265 based on the MPEG-4 protocol. Well, I did elaborate on that in the last net meeting that we had. So basically what it does, it receives the video signal out of the camera and the audio signal directly entered into the encoder box, encodes it, compresses it, and delivers it as a transport stream into the Pluto. Well, looking at the architecture of the chipset, then you see at the right that the video is coming in on the HDMI interface, and it is delivered to the chipset. The video encoding is done in the H.265 format, and the output is delivered as a UDP transport stream. That is how it basically works. And the question was, how does this stream look like? That is what interested me. I made the statement already that the audio is a separate input into the encoder box. You see it here at the right. It's entered into the audio codec and combined into the transport stream. And that is also interesting. How is that done? I already made an explanation on the different OZ layers in the total communication system, and actually what happens in the encoder box, that the H.265 encoding is being done in the encoder box that delivers a data stream, and this data stream is going through the different OZ layers to the transport layer, which is the radio channel that we are all using for reception and when you're transmitting also for transmission. So basically what happens if I look into my system, then I learn that my encoder does deliver the data over UDP multicast, and the kind of protocol that's being used is RTSP. It actually could also be RTP, meaning that the codec is delivering, follow the arrow, in this way to the, let's say, transport layer. Then the question does arise, of course, how does this stream look like? Well, this is the first slide that I wanted to show on this subject. Looking at the camera and also looking at your microphone, the analog signals which in some way are received are translated into digital signals and are encoded and even compressed. I did explain that in the previous overs. So that means that you do receive from your camera and do receive from your audio system elementary streams, data streams. But in some way, of course, in the full chain, you need to recognize the different parts in that elementary stream. You simply cannot transmit the elementary stream. The first thing that we need to do, that is that from this elementary stream we take packets, and these packets are put in a kind of envelope, you could say. So that means that we have to distinguish the elementary stream from the packetized elementary stream, because in the packetized elementary stream you really see the different parts are put in a, let's say, separate sample. They do receive a header, which is used by the receiver to recognize this packet in depacketization, as what you see. So the different samples, this could be a video elementary stream as an example. It's put in a packet elementary stream into a transport stream packet such that you can receive it again. And this could be an audio sample, and this could be a video sample again. In a bit more detail, the distinction between the elementary level, the packet elementary level, and the transport stream level. So basically this stream is the most primary stream that comes out of your let's say digitized microphone signal, your digitized video signal. You see that a prefix is added to it at a packet elementary level. And to be able to transport the information, we put the information, a sample of it, into an envelope. You have to put an address on the envelope and more information such that your postal system can transport the envelope. Well, in the IP world, it's exactly the same. So if you take the primary, the packetized elementary stream, so this packet, that is packet elementary stream number 1, then again you see that a header is added to that part such that it can be transported in the IP world. And actually this is what is happening between the encoder box and the add-on Pluto, and the same is applicable between the video card and your PC and the Pluto. It might be, of course, it is true even, that if you're running encoding in your PC, that you are using another kind of protocol between the Pluto and the computer. But the basics are the same. So the packetized elementary stream, that is a stream of PES packets, as we call them. They contain up to 65,000 bytes, as what you can see, and it always starts with a payload unit start indicator. They call it PUSI. It's a strange name, but that is what it is. So that's in the stream. The PES packet, what does it contain? Of course it can contain the video signal. You see it here. Actually we are using H.265. So looking at the PES packet, it can contain information regarding the video. But it can also contain information about the audio. And we are actually using AAC. As encoding and compression format. And more data information like subtitles can be transported, but since we are not a commercial television station, we are not using this, but we all recognize that, for example, information about your call sign and your service provider name is also being transported, and that is also a kind of information that can be contained by the PES packets. Yeah. Sorry. In a bit more detail, I did already explain it, but it's a kind of summary. What you see at elementary level, we see that we have video information, text information, audio information, and so on. This information is packetized, as explained, and it must be transported over an IP-based channel. That means that we see that the payload, the original payload, the audio and the video is entered here. Information will be added at PES level and also at transport stream level, and the information which is added at transport stream level is shown here. The sync byte, some kind of error indicator, payload start indicator, transport priority information. That's not important for us, but in real commercial satellite communication channels, that's most important. Some kind of identifier for the information, scrambling information, and so on. That is added to the original payload, and then it can be entered into the transmission channel, which in our case is the Adam Pluto. Well, I wanted to elaborate on the most important or the main transport stream packets that are being used. The first one is the sync byte. It's a very important one because we are transmitting information, and in some way the receiver has to recognize when is the new packet starting, when do I have to start decoding. And that is the function of the sync byte. Then the transport error indicator, it might be at a higher level that in the transmission channel something went wrong, and that a lot of errors do occur. That means that you have to inform the receiver that these errors are there, and that the packet that is delivered cannot be trusted. So that information is also part of the transport stream packet. Of course, there must be an identifier, and we all know it. If you have used the original Minituner software, you can provide the information on the PID which you want to receive, and that enables us to distinguish the audio channel from the video channel. But if you are talking about a commercial broadcast service, it could also identify the different bouquets that are being transmitted on the channel. There is a continuity counter. That's also important because the receiver is receiving all kinds of packets in that transport stream, and you need to receive them in a certain order, and also show them in a certain order, and for that information we need a continuity counter. The payload, that's of course the most important information, because you are listening at my payload at the moment and you are watching my presentation, which is part of the payload. And it might be, of course, that the bandwidth which is available is a bit more than the amount of information you want to transmit, and that means that stuffing bits can be added to the information such that the full transmission channel is being used. So let's have a look at the last slide. That is the contribution for this presentation then. If we have a look at the MPEG-2 transport stream which is being used between the encoder box and the Pluto, it contains the video bit stream, the audio bit streams. It is packetized, of course, in the PES format, as what you can see. It's being packed into a transport stream packet. That means that information is added to be able to transmit on the IP channel, and then in a certain order it is put in the total transport stream and transmitted from transmitter to receiver. Ladies, gentlemen, this is the contribution for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's see if I can show myself again. It's unbelievable, still sitting here. I show my test card, and I hand over the microphone and the camera to Leon. Leon, you're the man.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. That is very, very interesting. Still way above my head, but it's very, very well presented. And I don't know where you get all the information from. It's mind-blowing, but yes, very, very, very nice. Firstly, Gary, Uwan sent me a link. I forgot to mention it to you earlier, for the new Node Red stuff. He said to me, download that so long. So I did download it on this computer, which may go in on the internet. That one, the transmit one, may never go onto the internet. And I unzipped it on the memory stick. And then I put the memory stick into the transmit computer, and the whole unzipped folder is now on the desktop there. So I'm awaiting further instructions about Node Red. I must still get the heat sinks for the other Pluto before I can attempt anything. Okay, right, that's Gary one, and yeah, Paul, excellent. Yeah, it's a lot of information for me to comprehend it at this time, but yes, very, very interesting. I have no idea how this digital stuff works. I know there's an ID bit and a sync and that, because that's what we use in telemetry as well. You know, you have to your bit stream, and you need IDs and sync words and stuff. But this is like upper grade, higher grade. Okay, Saro, what did I? Yeah. Okay, Saro, you have a constant mains hum, not loud, and then at times it goes zzz, really loud. Open grid hum. And somewhere in the background, somebody is using a brush motor. I can hear the interference. Zzz. It's either a sewing machine or somebody of your close neighbors is working with an electric drill or something. But it's definitely a brush motor on the mains. I can clearly hear that in your hum. But otherwise, your transmission is perfect. Yeah, you can have the audio up a little bit, maybe a dB or so. But it's good, and it's nice to see you, and I'm also very glad to hear that your health is improving, so that you have more feeling for carry on with the amplifiers and so on. Somebody said, was it Paul who said about the amplifiers? They are, I think they can put out 160 watts on 2.4 gigs with 0 dBm input. That's like almost the saturation point, 0 dBm. They have got extremely high gain, so you need just a sniff of RF. And they run on something like 24 volts or so. I have one. I'm not using my one now. I'm using my home built one. That one I've also boxed with fans and everything. That is for my portable station, which I hope to be building someday, because it's nice and compact. Okay. So Saro, yeah, mains hum on mic, yeah, right. Full, okay, your heating bed thing. Oh yes, that's absolutely mandatory for surface mount work, is to have a heating bed. When I started off, I built this one. I made my own one. A normal utility box, about a 10mm slab of aluminium. It's not touching the edges here. The whole block is supported by 4 thin screws that I've tapped into the 2 on that side and 2 on that side. Tapped into the block for minimal thermal loss, thermal conductivity into the box. You just want to heat this. Then I took this solid aluminium block. I took it to an electrical shop downtown, and I said to the gentleman there, can you have manufactured for me and screwed to the base of this block 150 watt 220 volt heating element? And he said, yeah, certainly I can have that done for you. And he sent it away to Cape Town, and it came back beautifully done. The whole element enclosed like an envelope in stainless steel, screwed. They tapped into the block from the bottom, four holes, and the whole element is screwed onto this block. And it came with this nice screen braided high temperature cable. That's how it was supplied, the element. I just fitted this typical, I think it's a French type plug. What does it say? oh, it's nogal Canon. Anyway, some of these funny instruments have this type of mains plug. And then I also have on the underneath of this aluminium block, this is my temperature sensing thing with a normal DIN connector and a screen cable. For the temperature sensing, I'm using a standard 1N4148 diode. Can you believe it? It works like a charm. And then I've built just in a little box the controller. I've designed my own controller with a comparator and stuff, and so you can set the temperature. And I actually, when I built this, I set the temperature high enough so you just place all your components, put the board on here, and just watch it, and then everything flows and you take off the board. So I didn't even use top heat, but that's not the best way. The best way to run this is just below the melting point of your solder paste, so that everything still sits as it is. And then you can either with hot air just give it a whiff and it'll easily melt, or a soldering iron, or whatever your choice. But it's a homemade hot plate and it works very, very well. I'm not using it anymore because I bought a complete infrared soldering station, which has got a built-in heat plate. Then it's got the infrared at the top, which you can set everything. It's all digital. And it has also got a very fine soldering iron, which you can also set and manually solder. But it's very, very important to have bottom heat. Put your stuff on there and let it sit there for a while. Let the board warm up nicely, and then it's very easy to solder anything. So that's my heat bed thing. And Ed, yeah, you've got a big you can cook your eggs and stuff on there on your one as well. Alberto, yes, okay, yeah, very nice picture, very beautiful lighting. Everything in your station is just like perfect. Yeah, the lens I'm talking about is not parafocal. It's just continuous f-stop. In other words, if you zoom, the f-stop doesn't change. It stays wherever you've set it. Whereas the cheaper zoom lenses are like f4 to 5.6 or something, you know, as you zoom. I haven't checked it. Maybe it's parafocal as well. I haven't really checked it. But anyway, okay. So that's that one. Martin, well, I can't say anything. Your thing runs perfectly with your umpteenth version of Node Red, and it's working. Brian, yeah, okay. You say you use alcohol. I also used to use alcohol for cleaning the boards afterwards, but I found that lacquer thinners does a much better job. The alcohol is very slow on some of the fluxes, and all the modern components are pretty resistant to lacquer thinners. So I always have a bottle of lacquer thinners, and it's just quick, and everything just runs off it. And tiny little surface mount trim parts and things, nothing happens to them. They withstand the lacquer thinners. Then I said I'm going to order spares from the BATC shop, and I did. I ordered 2 NIMs and the 2 1-volt regulators, and one of those expensive USB converter little boards. They only had one left, so I took it. But I have to build 2 mini tuners, one for a friend whom I'm trying to get on the air as well. So I ordered the Pico adapter board for the second board, because I've got 2 blank mini tuner version 2 boards. But now, what sort of do you get different models of Arduino Picos or what? Because firstly, I must now find a Pico for his board, and the firmware, is that somewhere on the BATC net, the Pico firmware for making the USB, replacing the USB. I haven't really followed all the things. I just ordered this stuff. So yeah, if anybody knows. Okay, right, Saro, over to you. VU2 OBR for the group from ZS1 Mike. And I've turned down the pink on my face a bit. It should look a bit better now.
So, yeah, I am back again with clean audio. I think audio is clean, but surrounding sounds are there because the fan is running, and outside also some work somebody doing. You are having very clean observation, Leon, and the background sounds. Yeah, surrounding neighbors are doing its neighbors are very close to me, and my windows are open, and AC is not on now, using the fan. So in the shack only fan I am using now. So that's what they are noise and other things. Before there is the audio issue from the microphone. There is the connector loose contact, I think. Now it is fine. Hope my audio is good. Yeah, Paul. The amplifier is many people are using in the net also. It is delivering very good power levels, and the input is direct. No need of any free amplifier from Pluto or Lime or any SDR device. Just you can connect it directly. That is the amplifier. If you need more info, I can send you by WhatsApp. If you are there on the group, you can send a message to me. I can explain. And the Martin and Brian and Alberto, a nice, very nice signal, and very good clarity signal from you, Alberto. And Ed, as usual, the beautiful signal from you. And the temperature is too high. Let me check next week how it's happened. Before monsoon, and the temperature is too high, and so nothing else from my side. I'll pass the over to Phil again. Mike Oscar Mike 0 Papa India Tango. Please go ahead, Phil. 73 is all of you. See you join on next week, possibly with detailed info of the amplifier if people's required. Greetings from India. 73 is bye bye. This is VU2 Oscar Bravo Romeo signing and closing down the TX now.
We'll provide Mike 0 Papa India Tango to take it. If not, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November from ZE6YI. If not,
Okay, not sure what happened with Phil. I hope everything is okay there. Yeah, that's my cooking tools. Yeah, the heating platform and the hot air gun. It's an interesting hot air gun because it's portable. So you can set up the temperature right here and make the necessary work. That's what I'm using lately. Depending on the thing, I still prefer the good and old soldering iron, whatever is possible. But that's it. Okay, great transmissions from everybody. I really don't know why I'm out of sync. Thank you, Alberto, for pointing this out. Because I mute myself. Yeah, I really don't know why I'm out of sync. I need to adjust that. So since I'm not a ventriloquist, maybe I'm gonna do that like that, so you guys will not be uncomfortable looking to my lips out of sync. Yeah, I'm gonna talk like that. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Yeah. Also, for Martin, yeah, I loaded exactly the same version that you use in that very nice version. I like the visual, and yeah, I just need to find out what is happening, why it's not, the encoding is not starting. Maybe I just need to move the FFmpeg folder that came with it and replace the old one. I will try. I will try to play a little bit with that and see what's happened. Also, for those guys interested in soldering, it's very important to use some thermal paste. So I'm gonna, yeah, you're gonna see here. It's really important to use some thermal paste on your assemblies, as you can see. And yeah, as much as better, yeah. Okay, 73 to all. Thanks for all, and nice to see you. Hope to see you all again next weekend. Have a nice upcoming week. And 73. Back to Alberto. Echo Alpha 3 Golf November uniform. A nice switch that you made there, Alberto. Very interesting. Very easy to see. Very, very interesting. I like it. Echo Alpha 3 Golf November uniform from Papa Yankee 2 Radio November. Bye bye 73 all.
Okay, check. I have audio. Okay. So, thank you, Ed. I love your sense of humor. Yeah, the ventriloquist thing. And you have a very nice Spanish, so kudos about that. Saro, Victor Uniform 2, Oscar Bravo Radio. You had some low frame rate on your camera before, and maybe it's something due to the capture card, the USB capture card. Sometimes they do that. So the audio was very, very nice. And thank you for the compliments about my image. What I have is just a regular USB camera and then some light. So if I take the light out, you can see that the picture is not so good, and it's just a power bank with some lights. And also I like to tune a little bit the color of the camera. So in vMix, I can share the screen with you. In vMix, you can just touch a little bit the things. So this is the camera, and then I can just turn on and off the color correction, so you can see the difference between the camera with and without the color correction. Oh, I didn't want to do that. So this is with color correction. This is without color correction. So this is the raw output of the camera, and then some. It's not perfect. So I think that some parts of the image are too high. But anyway, it's a very, very simple setup. Zulus Sierra 1 Mike also, thank you for the flowers. And yeah, you are absolutely right about the parafocal versus constant aperture. Some constant aperture lenses are not parafocal. You're right. And also, Paul, about the 3D printer, it is handy to have one. For instance, I built a CW key that I can take to the field with me. Also, I built a tally light for my small company. We are a streaming producing company, just a very small business, and I built a tally light using this sort of Arduino microcontroller and some LEDs, some lights like this, and then I built the diffuser with the 3D printer. So I go like this and then put the microcontroller behind, and it has a Wi-Fi connection, so it can connect to vMix, and then light this part with the tally information. What else? I think that is all from my side. Thank you all for having me, and thank you for this nice. Oh well, one more thing about before that I made a mistake when I turn on my signal, and that's why you have to tell your encoder to receiver to sync to my signal again, because I turn on the RF without the encoder, so I was just putting out an empty signal, So if you looked at the payload, there was no payload. I just was putting out the signal without the MPEG, the MPEG info. Okay, so that was my fault. Okay, so again, thank you for this beautiful net, and I pass the floor to Martin. So Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo from Echo Alpha 3 Golf November uniform. Bye bye all.
Yeah, thanks for the. I was half asleep then. It caught me out, but yeah, thanks for the. I was half asleep then. Right. I thought I'd put a different background on. Not really, obviously, in the workshop. Mainly put it on because I thought I would show that we do actually get some sun in the UK. It's nice sunny here down in the West Country at the moment. It was a bit cold earlier when I was out, but the sun is quite pleasant, and all the things in the garden are growing. And to let's think, what was I going to say? Paul, absolutely superb. I shall have to re-watch. I'm finding it difficult to take it all in, but superb presentation, absolutely. I think I just need to watch the first time you did it, and this second batch of slides, etc., and try and get the brain cell to remember it all. I don't remember as much as I used to, but yeah, with regards to DATV Red there, Ed, I would just download, and whenever I'm going to do it, I just download it, extract it, and just run it from that particular folder. So I have multiple versions on, so I can always go back to the previous one. Yeah, can't think why you'd had a. It probably, if you look around, probably something isn't set to what you think it is. Just go through all the settings again, and just double check that everything. It's easy to get lost, especially when OAN keeps moving things around a little bit, just so I get used to where they are. Things change, but run through all the settings that there are. Just check that everything is as you'd expect it to be. Usually one that catches me out is the delay, which I think is by default is 0.65. I need 4.5 on the later versions. Yeah, it's just run through and give it another go. I've installed so many different versions. I think yesterday there was at least 3 or 4 times I installed it. It gets easier as you go, and the later versions seem to be more intelligent on doing things and finding things and setting things up. Okay, so all good there. Yeah, find the MQTT button. Yeah, I must admit, my little system is far cruder than that. Let's get rid of the background. As a safety thing, I have one of these, which are the mains triggered sockets as such. And one of those feeds the power supply to my PA. So I switched all the 3 of them off. One which is the sort of shack power, one of which is the Pluto feed, which is out in the garage on the network, and a few other bits and pieces. And the third one is the power supply that feeds the PA, etc. So everything is switched off. It's helped me no end. It's so easy to forget that you've left things running in the garage, which is where my PA is, and to control it all is let's go back to the screen, is that little gizmo, which the forward reflective power don't work, but the rest of it works pretty well for me, and that communicates back. I didn't write it, so can't take any credit for it. I'm just a user, but that works out well for me. And it just does what it says. You know, you click on things and it should. Sorry, I click on things and it should shift like so. That one's switching an aerial. It's just switching a relay that's controlling an aerial to my SDR. But, plus it's got some protection built into it if the temperature is too high, etc. Anyway, thank you for the net. Another good one. Sorry I was a bit late. I'll try and do better next week. But we did actually make it. I didn't think I was going to. Had a few things that I got sidetracked into. And anyway, I'm starting to repeat myself. So just to prove that the sunshine is still there, he says. Let's get rid of me. So the sunshine's disappearing now. Anyway, over to you there, Brian. I'll put a test card, and yeah, thanks for the info on the way in which you solder things. Yeah, some low melting point solder, which I can use. But oh, a bit of sun came out just to prove that it is still sunny. But yeah, we'll get around to doing it during the week. And 7-3s to all. And thank you, Gary, for running the net. From Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo, passing it over to Brian.
Check audio. Yep, seem to have some of that. Mute it. Yeah, Paul commented on my sound. I don't know if it was the noise gate. Probably got it set too hard. But I've turned it off. Probably be the easiest. Leon, you're not on the chat. I did send you a message. But basically, you can use Pi Pico on its own on that little adapter board if you solder it all direct onto the board. The actual back panel USB connector near enough lines up. It's not very far out at all. On the Rev 1 Pico, well, and the later ones, you can use either with or without Ethernet. And yeah, the Ethernet version, which is what I'm running, does actually work as a Winter Hill client. You can just set it on the network and stream the 2 channels from that. That's what I say. The firmware to download is on the BATC site. There's a bit of software you have to load called is it FD Diag or something like that. You have to program the USB ports up, and then you push the load button while pairing up the Pico, and you should get a pop-up window open up. You just drop the .fu file in that open window, and once it's loaded it'll reboot itself, and basically away you go. Right, I'll say 7-3s for this afternoon. Thanks for the net, everybody. Nice to catch up, and I'll hand it back to Gary, ZS6YI from G6HFS.
Good indeed. It's been an interesting net today. And Paul, thank you very, very much for the fantastic presentation. Many people are very impressed with them. And I wouldn't mind, once the series is complete, a complete package of this wonderful presentation, which one can also give to clubs, if you don't mind. Really nicely done and clear, easy to understand, well presented as well. So compliments. Yeah, on the list, we want to just thank everybody for coming up, and it's been very interesting. Alfredo, nice to see you again. I'm just trying to play with the list. There we go. Yeah, Leon, thanks for the QSP. I'm glad you're moving in the right direction, but your signal's excellent. So don't be too hasty. It's fine as it is, but it's nice if you can get those added features on. Saro, nice to see you again. It's been a long time, and I'm pleased you're feeling a bit better after the motorcycle accident and also the bad health that happened. But looks like you're coming back to stream, and we'd like to see you on many more times. And then, of course, Ed, yeah, I totally agree with Alberto. Your sense of humor is just fantastic. Another guy is Mike, G0MJW. He's got a very nice keen sense of humor. I can sometimes crack up with some of his comments, either on the chat or as he says them, very pan-faced. Anyway, Martin, as usual, I see you right in front. I'm version 4.7 at the moment, but I've been too busy, so I know Ohan has, he contacted me yesterday, but I was too busy. I had so many Chinese people, plastics experts around the one mold we're running, and yeah, it was a difficult day. We couldn't communicate, so we had to go through translators to figure out what they're trying to say and what we're trying to say. Anyway, it was interesting. Brian, always good to hear from you, and nice to read your comments and your articles on the BATC Facebook page. So keep up the good work. It's always nice to have that documented there as well. Well, with that, I'm going to say 7-3 to the 86 viewers on YouTube. Gunther also joined us. Hello, Gunther. Nice to see you on. And the 16 concurrent views, so very good. 87 so far. It's not bad for a live streamed video DATV net. So with that, I'm closing the net, wishing everybody on frequency a happy week, and we hopefully see everybody next week this time. This is ZA6 Yankee India. Now closing the net and wishing everybody happy week. 7-3 all.
Now I'm going to be nasty. Okay, Gary, thanks very much. Paul, hold it there. Don't go away. And Ed, don't go away. Paul, I have a question for you. Behind you is some instruments, and some of them are clearly Rohde and Schwarz. The one looks very much like a SMLU, but I'm not sure. If you could just tell me what that is, because I have lots of old Rohde and Schwarz instruments, but I don't. That doesn't quite look like a SMLU. And Ed, if you're still there, I'd like you to play that cat movie again. I started my recording too late. I would love to record that. That is the best. So Paul, if you're there, please take it. Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa for the group from ZS1 Mike, and then you can give it to Ed if Ed is still there.
I'm still there. Yeah, if the camera is also willing to show it. I'm still there. Oh dear, too much audio. First of all, thanks a lot, Gary, for hosting the net again. It's really wonderful that you are willing to do that. And as you see, I'm still here, sitting in the shack, because I changed the time. to visit my parents. I'm before the net starts. Actually, I'm there, and that was also the reason why I was late. Leon, you raised a question. What is the Rohde & Schwarz instrument? I can try to use my shaky cam. Just a moment. The first known one is the well-known spectrum analyzer. The second one is an oldie, also spectrum analyzer. And then you see the signal generator. It's really an old beast, but he's doing his job, as what you can see. And underneath there's another signal generator. What is it? It's an SMS. And underneath there is an Icon 9000. I use it as a measurement receiver. And underneath another old beast. Yeah. And here, my camera does not like it. Also an interesting old spectrum analyzer, but it does its job really at really high frequencies, so that's good. And the Riegel stuff, but still nice instruments. But there is some more. As you can see. Yeah. Okay. So what you can see, I'm in the shack. I put my camera back again. Yeah, let's say I'm a real technical guy. That's the part of the hobby that I really do enjoy. And then Ed, I also really enjoy your sense of humor. It's really wonderful. So don't stop it. I really enjoy it. So microphone and camera back to Brazil. From Papa Echo #1 Alpha Victor Papa.
Okay. Thanks, Paul. Thanks. By the way, fantastic presentation as always. I got this since the first slide you made, and it's you're developing this extremely well. Congratulations for the presentation, and for the shack as well. Very nice equipment. For Leon, I just don't bother recording that from here. I just post the movie, the cat movie, on the WhatsApp group, so you can download from there. If you cannot download from there, I can send you through email or whatever you need. All right, guys. It's 4 minutes to midday, so try to go out and hunt my lunch. 73 to all. Hope to see you next week. Bye bye.